Hello everyone, welcome back. Today is December 13th, 2023, and we're back working on the Kawasaki Vulcan 900 motorcycle. Today my plan is to put everything back on the front and rear wheel. I had to take the rear sprocket off, bolt the brake rotors off, clean the wheels up, and then paint some of the parts of the wheels and painted the brake rotors. So now I got to start putting things back together. This is the rear sprocket. I painted it with that silver wheel paint, and then I clear coated it. This is the back side. You can't see it, so I didn't bother painting it. I did repaint this ring just because you can see the edge of it, but I probably could have got away without painting it at all. But it's held on with 6mm socket head cap screws. And these didn't have any Loctite or anything on them, so I'm not putting any Loctite back on them. Now the bolts that hold the brake rotors on the wheels, they had red Loctite on them, so I will be putting red Loctite back on them and then torquing them down. Everything I'm doing on this bike, I'm just showing you what I'm doing on the bike. I'm not recommending this is how anybody does it, or this is a correct procedure. I'm learning as I'm going along on this, so this is just for entertainment purposes only. Okay, I've got, this is in inch pounds. Some of the smaller fasteners, they get torqued to inch pounds, where the bigger ones get torqued to foot pounds. And this one gets torqued to, let's see, what did I say, these are 6mm. They get torqued, they say 52 to 69 inch pounds. I'm going to go to 60 inch pounds. So I'm just going to start here on one. See, it's not much at all. Okay, there you go. So next step will be to bolt this on the wheels, so I'll get the camera reset and we'll do that. Okay, I'm just going to put this down on here like this. And these are a locking nut, so you don't need any Loctite on these. Again, I'm just going to run them down by hand first to get them close. And then these get torqued to 25 foot-pounds. Okay, I've got my torque wrench set at 25 foot-pounds, so I'm going to start here with this one. And just do a crisscross pattern again. Okay, that takes care of that. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to put the disc on the other side. Okay, and the disc is smooth on one side. The other side, it's got the stamping on it for the minimum thickness before you have to replace it, and that faces out. Now these screws had red Loctite on them, so I'm putting red Loctite back on them. I'm not a real big fan of red Loctite because if you do have to take it back apart, it's kind of hard to get apart. I don't put a whole lot on there, just enough to kind of put a strip down them, and then it'll spread out as you screw it in. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so that wraps up the rear wheel. I think it cleaned up pretty good. It's got a little bit of rust on it yet that didn't come out, but overall, I think it's gonna look okay on the bike. So we'll get do the front wheel now. It just gets the brake rotor on it. That's pretty easy. Okay, the front rotor is the same way. It's stamped on the front of it here, minimum thickness. So you want that facing out. And then again, I'm going to put red Loctite on these. Okay, that takes care of the front wheel. So now we're ready to put them on the bike. And I almost forgot. I got to put this plastic guard back in there before I get this put in there. I don't think I can get it in there. I think I have to lay this up in here like this. That it's the little belt guard. It'll stay in there until I get this put in. This thing I kind of had to shake around on and stuff, and it just finally fell out. So I'm hoping I can do the same thing to get it back in here. Okay, I wasn't going to videotape this, but you know what? It's my own stupid fault, so I want to show you how I screwed up. Okay, I was busy showing you how to put the rotors on the wheels, and I didn't pay attention, and I put the rotor for the rear wheel on the front wheel and the rotor for the front wheel on the rear wheel. Okay, and there is a difference, even in cars. There's a difference in the front and rear rotors. The front rotors are always bigger than the rear rotors because they do the majority of the braking. And it's very obvious when you look at them. I can show you here. You can see the difference. Let me lay it this way. Okay, you can see the difference in the size. Okay, I mean, if I put it to one edge, you can see how much bigger that one is than the front one. And then the thickness, you can obviously see a difference in the thickness. Okay, dummy me, I was busy talking to you guys, putting it in there, and I just need to pay attention to which one I grab for which wheel. This one goes on the front, this one goes on the rear. So I'm going to go ahead and put them back on again, and then we'll be back to the point where I was before, fighting, trying to get that rear wheel up in there. So live and learn. Okay, let's try this again. I think it'll go on a little easier this time. After I did, I was imagining how many of you were there when I was doing it originally, screaming, "You got it on backwards." Got a little spacer has to go between the this bracket and the wheel itself, so I got to try to keep that in there while I'm trying to get everything else down in place. Get this down in place and see if this works any better. Okay, try this one more time. I got to try to wheel this wheel back without losing that spacer. There we go, right there. Put that in place. Look at that. Oh, got ahead of myself again, didn't I? I forgot to put the adjuster in there, so now I got to pull that back out. Hopefully everything will stay where it was. Okay. Come around the other side here. Okay, so now I just got to get this belt on. Not too much trouble, hopefully. There we go. Now I have to adjust the tension on the belt. Okay, as you can see here on the adjuster, there's a notch, and then there's these little marks up above it. Okay, so I need to go to the third mark back from the front is where it was before. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to get it close, and then I'll snug my axle down just a little bit to kind of pull the frame tight and everything, just to make sure that it is where it's supposed to be.